चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुकुं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। Wonderful. Thank you. So, just first, I'll go and talk about different section, and we will talk about what section we are on. So, just give me 1 second. I'll go to that slide which is talking about these sections. Wonderful. So, we covered first and second verse. Is it visible to you also, Prabhuji? Beautiful. So, first and second verses was Arjuna's confusion, and 3 to 9, which we actually already covered. So we can start with 10, which is Nishkama Karma Yoga is better than Jnana for Arjuna. And we spoke about it that the nature of the soul is to be active. If one is not trained sufficiently and goes to the forest to practice Jnana Yoga, then he will go with his senses, which will create bigger havoc. Now we are on 10 to 16, and we'll see how many verses we can cover today. Is moving from Karma Kanda to Karma Yoga. That's the section where Krishna is telling if you can't do detached dutiful work, which means if you're still attached to the results of the, then better you do karma kand yajna for Krishna's pleasure. And we will talk about why should we do the yajna or whatever we are doing for Krishna's pleasure. We are all aligned. Okay, I'm just going to quickly go to verse 10. So this is 9 to 16. Actually it should be 9 to 16. Sorry, did not put it correctly. So which is prosperity by pleasing Lord, not by our smart plans. So with that, in verse 9, if we can quickly read the translation of that one, and then we can move to text 10.
Okay. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for him that always remain free from bondage.
Beautiful, thank you. So we spoke about this verse, but just to quickly connect the dots together, we all are actively working in one or the other way. The soul is active, which we talked about. We perform any, there is a result with that, right? We know about that. But even if we see from gravity, it's just whatever the object is there, it has to come down. So whatever activity we perform, there is a result associated with it. And this is a very important aspect of Bhagavad Gita. If I'm performing an activity, I get the result, which is pious punya, piety, which is punya, or papa, which is what is the English meaning of papa?
Sin.
Sin. Yes. Yeah. So either I have to reap the fruits, whether they are good fruits or bad fruits. I have to go through that. So it seems like a chain. Whatever activities I'm performing, I have to go through the results. To finish the results, you have to take another birth. There is a very beautiful story in this connection of Dhritarashtra. You know how he got 100 sons? You know about that story? Anybody online knows about how Dhritarashtra got 100 sons and how why the 100 sons were killed online?
No, no.
Okay. So Dhritarashtra, many lifetimes back, he was sitting under a tree and there were ants crawling. He actually pinched those ants and those ants died. So the reaction of that work was pending. And the world is designed in such a way. And if you also see from Ramayana, why who was the father of Lord Ram? Remind me the name again.
Father of
Lord Ram,
Dasharatha.
Dashrath Maharaj. You know about Dashrath Maharaj, why he had to leave his body in a pitiable condition. Lord Ram left for the forest and he left there. You know about that story. So let's connect both these stories. Dashrath Maharaj went to the forest, and there was actually a devotee, a person who was actually carrying his blind parents. Do you remember the name?
Oh yeah. Um,
I was thinking Eklavya, but that's not
Not
Eklavya.
Eklavya.
I forgot.
Just to
Huh?
carry his
Shravan.
weight.
Shravana.
Shravan,
Shravan.
thank you.
Shravan.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. He was carrying his old age parents, and then they had a desire, because earlier times and even now it should be done. The people go for, when the certain age they reach, they go for all these pilgrimage. Thank you. So he was carrying them, and Lord Ram's father, Dashrath Maharaj, he actually went to the forest for
Hunting.
hunting. Yes, and he heard the voice. Actually, he was taking the water for his parents because they were thirsty. He thought it's a deer and he threw an arrow, and actually it hit his chest and he was about to die. And when he came, he realized, "Alright, what did I do?" And what happened is, his parents were waiting. So he said, "I'm leaving, please take this water." He took the water and the parents cursed him, saying, "You will see, like we are suffering, they also left their body in separation from his son. You will also die in the same way." And that's how it's easy to connect. Activity has an action, reaction. Action has a reaction, and it comes on that front. Same way Dhritarashtra killed so many ants, he had to reap the fruits of it. For that, he had to take so many birds, because to get a son, one has to do a lot of piety. And then the result of that piety, one gets the son. So to get him 100 sons, he has to go through so many lives. Finally, he got 100 sons. And in front of his eyes, he saw his children die. That is how material laws are designed. Nobody can escape. Like for an example, today in Google Maps, it tell you if there is a cop on the way. So it tells you, people complain, and you can escape. At that time, you become sober, and then you again start. It happens, right? We try to figure out the way to somehow get out of that laws, but material laws are not like that. Another story. There was is it okay? Stories are
No,
okay.
that's fine.
Thank you, thank you. There was a sage. So this sage was practicing spiritual life in his hermitage. There is a thief who came, and he entered his hermitage and he was hidden in his hermitage. He did not know that. So the soldiers of king, they came and they were searching, where is he? So finally they found him in the hermitage, and they thought he is their leader. So they took him to the sage and were punishing him. The sage is like, I forgot his name, Matanga Rishi, or I forgot his name actually. Please forgive me about that. So king got to know, "Are he is the sage, what are you doing? Release him." Anyway, so they released him. So this sage ultimately went to Yamaraj, and he asked this question to Yamaraj: "Why was I punished? Why was I punished? I didn't do anything. I was practicing spiritual life." He said, many lifetimes back, I forgot, and I don't want to mix up because it is very similar to Dhritarashtra, that you actually created a problem for living entities many lifetimes back. So you were supposed to get that punishment. So though in this life you didn't do anything, but in previous lives you did that, and he cursed Yamaraj to become a Shudra, and that's how Yamaraj was born as Vidur, as a brother of Dhritarashtra. So who is Vidur? Yamaraj. He didn't do any mistake there. You're understanding, right? Here Yamaraj said, boss, you did it. I am just, what is the responsibility of Yamaraj, a death personified is? Boss, it's a clear account. A gets B. You did A, you will get B. Whatever is there, accordingly, your action is reaction. And there's laws written for that one. There is no doubt about it. We will read some verse on that part. So he followed that. But in spite of that, he got cursed. And he had to take a birth as Vidur. What a powerful personality. So again, coming back, don't want to distract. So coming back to this verse, which we read now, and I'll go back to the PowerPoint that I. Okay. So that is what the 9th verse is. Now, if we read the 10th verse, let's read this together. Saha. Okay. Before we recite, we always, because Vyasadeva wrote these scriptures, so we offer a small prayer in glorification of Vyasadeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Thank you. Saha yajna praja srishtva.
Yagya praja sishva
Puruvacha prajapatihi.
Uruvacha Prajapati.
Anena prasavishyadvam.
Anena Prasavisyadvajam.
Eshavostvastakam
Vastasriskamatu.
So, on Bhagavad Gita, there are various powerful sages or saintly people who have wrote that commentary, and one of them is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and that's what you see as VCT. I'm sorry, I'll just fix those things. So he says, now if you cannot be without desire in the action, because our tendencies are so deep rooted that anything we do, we have certain expectation from that work. So he says, if you cannot be without desire in action, then you should still perform action offered to Vishnu with desire rather than give up the actions completely. So a lot of times, I can't practice spiritual, I better to give it up. Krishna is rejecting that idea. If you don't mind reading the translation for verse 10.
Yeah, I can read it.
Please.
In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generations of men and demigods, along with sacrifices for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, be thou happy by the yajna sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation.
Beautiful. Now, this is a very important part of Bhagavad Gita, specifically on how this creation is created and what are the rules or regulations of this material world. This is something, when we talk about yajna, this is something which is not followed in today's age, and that's where there are so many repercussions. So we will know about what this yajna is all about. So what we see here, the Lord Vishnu, you can all see presentation online, is that right? So what we just read, Lord Vishnu in the beginning of creation provides men with all necessities to live. And again, don't want to bring that topic, but it is somehow so relevant. Have you heard about the story of Adam and Eve?
Yeah.
Can someone summarize what was that story all about? If you know, not comfortable, you're welcome to say, I don't remember. That's okay. You remember that? Otherwise, I can tell
Yeah,
you.
I mean, it's a man and woman where this apple of sin which they eat. And
Forbidden apple.
Forbidden apple. Sorry.
Yes. No, you're good.
Yeah, so they're
Just
being
trying to
told
add
not
points.
to eat the forbidden apple, but human curiosity and anxiety always overtakes, and they eat, and then that's when they realize the sense of lust, shame, and
Very
everything
good.
that shines.
Beautiful. Very, very, very well. I'll add few points or add few more colors on that one. So Adam and Eve were actually children of God. They were given all facilities. You can enjoy. No problem at all. Enjoy not in a negative way. You can live peace in this material world. I'll just rephrase that verse. You can live peacefully in this world. There are so many fruits on these trees. There are so many jungles. Everything is provided to you. There is only one tree, which is a forbidden tree, and you should not eat from that tree. And it happens that, and again, that's a long story. We'll speak some other time. But they were kind of tempted to actually eat that forbidden apple, and they did that, and their ruination started just after that. This is Jewish story which is spoken about that. Similar way, the whole creation is created by Lord Vishnu, and he created Lord Brahma first. And very interestingly, before even coming to Krishna consciousness, tell me any scripture which tells who is the mother of Lord Brahma. Have you read it somewhere?
Not Brahma, no. Only they say father of Brahma.
Only father of Brahma. Because he was not born by mother and father. Of course, they are not, these great personality are not born by mother and father. Lord Brahma was born from the navel of Lord Vishnu. And that's why he doesn't have a mother. His mother and father is Lord Vishnu. I was just picking on that. Lord Brahma is born, and Lord Brahma is given the responsibility to create this material world and populate this material. So he started creating population. The first thing, he creates the administration department. Any government just switches or whatever it is, first thing is, who is the admin head for this thing, then identify that. Similar way, for this material world also there is an administration which is required. So the devatas came, which is called, those are called as demigods. They were set in charge. For an example, Varuna is for water, right? In
Vayu.
Vayu is for the air. So earth, water, fire, air, and ether, for everything there is devata, and even for other things as well. So the demigods came in, and after that all necessities were created. And then the human beings who are actually, and we will read it after Bhagavad Gita, we'll read Srimad Bhagavatam. When the entire annihilation happens, we enter into the body of Lord Vishnu. So we still exist because soul can never die. We spoke about that in chapter 2. So where do we go when the annihilation happens? That's what it answers. So we enter into the body of Lord Vishnu. And when the creation happens, I have a ground created now, so I can be injected in, right? But I have desire, so I cannot be with Lord Vishnu. So we are injected into different places of the world in our actions. And all necessities of life were provided. And there were rules of mankind which were set to perform yajna. Now, yajna is not just the sacrifice which we talk about, and we'll read further on that part. So that is what we have talked about, that from here, the men and demigods were born from Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu creates this material world. You're able to see it. Is that right, Prabhuji? Creates the material world, and then the souls are injected into this material world, right? And then ultimately the purpose is to do the sacrifice to Vishnu. This is what Vedas talk about. And when we perform the sacrifice, we progress towards liberation, and we achieve everything desirable for living happily. Very similar to Adam and Eve. There were rules set. That it just talks about one rule, but here are a set of rules which has to be followed. So one has to perform this yajna to achieve perfection. I asked this question. Maybe I'll park that question a little later, but this is clear with everyone, right? So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions the material creation by the Lord of Creature Vishnu is a chance offered to conditioned soul to come back to Godhead. Actually, even in the jail, when someone is giving a punishment for whatever number of years, they enter that year. If they behave well, if they perform everything nice, the government may decide to let them go,
Release them early.
to release them early. Please forgive me about that if I'm saying something which may not be palatable, but it's a reality. We are all prisoners in the material world. We rebelled against God like Adam and Eve, and we are put into this material world, which is a world of continuous suffering. Sometimes it's not visible to us, but when we live in hospital and when we see people, really brutal, really brutal. And sometimes it happens to us also. So We are stuck there. And through this yagna process, God gives an arrangement to escape. Like I was just mentioning about the other day, I forgot that movie. If you remember, just let me know. So there is this guy who's who is blind, who cannot see things, and he's stuck in a place, and there is only one door to get out of that. So this person, because he's blind, so he realized, I will touch the wall, I'll keep moving, and when I feel that this is not the wall, that could be the door, and I get out. Very interestingly, every time he would come close to the door, either the etching would come like that, and he would just skip that way. And that is how our life is. We understand, come to bhakti also, we understand what is the purpose of life, we move forward, but those desires take us away from that, and we again miss that human form of life, and again get to another species of life, and again move forward that way. That's how so powerful it is. So it says, conditioned souls, which is none other than us, is given an opportunity to come back to Godhead. All living entities with material creation are conditioned by material nature because of their forgetfulness of their relationship to Vishnu. There are two ways to learn a lesson, or let me put it that way. Child wants to touch the fan while it is moving. Father or mother says, no, it's not good for you. But the father doesn't, the child doesn't, no, no, I want to touch it. So what does father do or mother do? Switch off the fan. And it takes some time for fan to switch off, like completely come to stand still. Then say, now you put the hand. And you put the hand as a child. Oh, it hurts. So you learned a lesson. I will never put my hand in the fan. We are all like that. Sometimes, yes, please forgive me about that again. Something I may speak may not be palatable, so please forgive me about that. I'm just trying to repeat from this. We are like sometimes hard nuts. We don't understand the reality of this world until we put our hand in that fan. And when we put that, we realize, oh, I made a mistake. Some people, even after doing that, they again want to do it. That's a separate story. I don't want to get into that one. We want to, let's try to be in the first category. So all within the material, conditioned by material nature because of their forgetfulness of their relationship to Vishnu or Krishna, the supreme personality of God. The Vedic principles are to help us understand this eternal relationship, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Vedaischa sarvar aham eva vedya. The Lord says that the purpose of the Vedas is to understand Him. In Vedic hymns it said, Patim Vishwayatmeshwaram. Therefore, the Lord of the living entity, the Supreme Personality of God, Vishnu. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is Srila Sukadeva Goswami says, the Prajapati is Lord Vishnu, and he is the Lord of all living creature, all worlds, all beauties, and protector of everyone. The Lord created this material world to enable conditioned souls to learn how to perform yajna for the satisfaction of Vishnu, so that while in the material world they can live very comfortably without anxiety. And after finishing the present material body, they can enter into the kingdom of God. That is the whole program of conditioned soul. And we will talk about what that yajna is, because that could be another thing. So it is exactly like the grace marks are given for folks who are not able to pass. That if you perform the yajna, the challenges in the material world, it is difficult, it is painful. So it gives you a liberty that you will be peaceful also in this material world, and you will also understand the purpose of life. And that is how these yajna process is defined. And there are four yugas: Satya Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Kali Yuga. So every millennium is defined into these four yugas. And Lord Brahma lives for millions of such yugas. Our, and one yoga may last for billions of years. So you can imagine his lifespan. And for every yoga, there is a prescribed yajna which has to be done. For an example, there are, if you drive in London, it's a right hand side drive. And we drive left here, right? Is that right? I
That's
forgot.
right hand driving, this left hand.
I can't go to London and say, no, I want to drive left. Can you do that? Like, for an example, I came here multiple times on work visa and then went back. So I stayed here and I drove. First time when I came, I didn't drive. But second time I came, I drove and I saw cars, so I remembered the rules. I wasn't remembering, but I saw the vehicle, did that. But when I went to India, I was entering in my workplace, and there is a good drive to actually reach to work, and it was empty. And I drove in US, and I went in India. So rather than left, I drove on right, and the car was coming opposite to me. And guess what? What I did? I honked at him. Don't you know how to drive? Whose problem is that? Not his. I am not following the rules. Similar way, there are certain rules defined by material nature, and there are certain yagna defined by particular age. I say, oh no, in this Kali Yuga, like in meditation is yagna. No, I will do meditation. I will close my eyes, go to the forest and do meditation. No, whose problem is that if you fail? My problem, because I chose. When it is defined, this is not defined for this Kali Yuga, the result will not be proper. Right? Similar way, our eating things is so scientific, and there are so many oils. Do you know why there are so many oils? You have peanut oil, you have sesame oil, and whatever, so many oil. One Gurukul Vasi, he actually taught me what oil to use in what season, how body works on a certain time of the period based on the weather, and what oil is conducive to that one. There is such a deep science even in eating. Why not about this thing? And that's an important aspect, that what one has to follow. So by performance of the yagna, the conditioned souls gradually become Krishna conscious and became godly in all respect. In age of Kali, the Sankirtan yagna, which is chanting of the name of God, is recommended by the Vedic scriptures. And we will again and again talk about this point. Everyone is aligned? So quickly summarize the purpose of material creation, a chance offered to conditioned souls, which is none other than us, to come back to God, to learn how to perform yajna for satisfaction of Supreme. What are the benefits of yajna? We will get happiness in the material world. We will purify our heart. We think, Arey, humko chahiye, we don't need purification of heart, but we desperately need it. And later we can enter into the kingdom of God. What is the cause of conditioning in the material world? Forgetfulness of our relationship with Krishna. We read that, but I'm just trying to put the bullet points so that it is easier. And what is the purpose of Vedic principles? To help us in understanding the eternal relationship and understanding of the Lord as Pati, which means the master of every living entity. And we all, the best yajna to perform in the age of Kali is Sankirtan yajna, which is chanting the name of Krishna. And who gave this? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself came. Whereas this is the beautiful picture. Sorry, it may not be visible online, but this is the beautiful picture. You see Panchatattva on the first one. Madhij, you are able to see?
Yeah.
The center yellow is Lord Chaitanya. And on his left, which is on your right, sorry, I mean, is Lord Nityananda, who is Balramji. So Chaitanya Prabhu is Krishna plus Srimati Radharani, and then Nityanand Prabhu on the right. And next to Nityanand Prabhu, which is on the rightmost side of you, is Advaita Acharya. You know who is Advaita Acharya? He is Mahavishnu. So he appeared there and specifically gave this information saying that in this Kali Yuga, what has to be chanted there. And on the rightmost side is Narada Muni, which is green. And then the pink one is Srimati Radharani. So Srimati Radharani appears twice as an independent person as well as along with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he actually brought this mantra and he said, if one chants this mantra, such a simple process, sitting anywhere you are, wherever you are, you just chant the name of Krishna, you can do the yajna. Any questions so far? Good? Okay. Let's read verse 11. Everyone is all aligned online?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. So
Yes.
now we are connecting verse 11. Let's read that and we'll see the connection between 10 and 11. Devan Bhava, sorry, Devan Bhava Yatanena,
Devanavavyatanena
Te Deva Bhavayantu Vaha,
Te
Te
Deva
Deva
Bhavayan Vaha
Bhavantuvaha
Parasparam Bhavayantaha,
Parasparam
Parasparam Bhavayantaha
Bhavayantaha
Shreya Param Avapshatha.
Shreya
Shreya
Param
Param
Vapasthaya.
Translation,
Vapishtataya
please. Whoever wants to. Go
I
ahead,
tell
man.
it.
Go ahead.
The demigods, being pleased by sacrifices, will also please you, and thus by cooperation between men and demigods, prosperity will reign for all.
Thank you. Very important. There is a cycle, which is now demigods are the one who are in charge of giving us those prosperities. Comes in today, what do we do for devatas? In this whole world, there is give and take. You agree? I go to work, I get the salary because I work for them. Nobody gives you anything for free. Like I just took my kids. Just I was just mentioning on Thanksgiving weekend, I just took them to Universal and I trained them. Nothing comes for free. So we entered Universal Studio and we went ahead. There was one guy who said, "We will give you a free fast pass." I'm like, seriously, you will give me free? And you know what fast pass is? I'm like, really? He said, yeah. My kids just didn't bother. They just went ahead. Dad, just leave it. I'm like, no, I want to find out. I'm like, yeah, what do I have to do for that? Nothing. Really? Oh, so why would you give me for free? He said, you buy our credit card or you take our. So in this world, nothing comes for free. That's the reality of this material world. So when we talk about the devatas are giving us all facilities. So question for all of you. What do we do for devatas?
Nothing. When it's anything is free, we don't value it.
That is one aspect. That is one aspect. But they are doing something for us. They are expecting something for us. So what do we do for it? The reality is when we, like you said, we don't do anything for them. So what happens in any relationship when it was only one-way communication? What happens?
It breaks.
It breaks. It becomes so dry that it cannot continue forward because I'm like, oh, this is just one-way reciprocation. I see that, and that is what is happening. There is no repay back, right? For an example, when you take a loan on credit card or when you take a loan, you don't pay large interest on that. And what is the interest for us in this case? Material nature behaves abnormal to all of us. Too much cold, much heat, less water, less rain. We say, "Arey, now whatever reason you give, it's because, please excuse me, you break the laws of material nature."
Yeah, our consumption has gone beyond necessity to greed, and
Ha, good you brought this word greed because earth is so powerful. It can provide trillion times more than what we can actually think about. But when the greed becomes more, the earth produces less. Good you brought this up. So similar thing when we don't pay back devatas, there is a cut, there is a flow cut here. Like cycle is there, and when you cut the cycle, then it is halfway finished. So that's the same thing which has happened. So what are the two results of sacrifice from 11 to 15? Fulfilling all your material desires. You live in prosperity and purify the heart to elevate one to the material world. So material world can be very happy place as well to a certain extent, a person who follows the rules and regulations. But remember, the in jail, if someone gets nice food and everything, the purpose is not to stay in the jail. You're with me so far, right? So being happy in the material world does not mean I want to stay here. Because at the end of the day, it is my credit, it is my karma. And when that gets over, then when people go through health crisis, financial crisis, or any other crisis, you know what is the main reason behind it? You may give any reason, or because he didn't follow the diet, because of this thing, because of that thing. It is all karma which is now fructifying. That's the bitter reality of that, and that's the problem. So we want to get that out. So in this, what we read actually, just to summarize from the 11th verse, what we spoke about is that one has to be you was the very nice word in the translation. That word we have to have. Can you read that word again? It just cooperation. Yes, thank you. Sorry. We have to cooperate with devatas by performing the yajna. And what yajna? Okay. Okay. Beautiful. So that is what we need to follow. You're with me. Can we move to the next verse? Okay. I lost track of time, so please remind me about that. I
Yeah,
can't.
443.
Okay. Thank you. Because I don't
We
see
can
it.
do one more.
Okay. Istanbogan hivo deva
Ishtan
Bhagani
Bhogani
Deva
Deva
dasyante yajna bhavitaha
दास्यन्ते
दास्यन्ते
यज्ञभाविताः
यद्भाविताः
तैर्दातान् अपराधयैभ्यो
तैर्दातामपराधेभ्यो
तैर्दातामपराधेभ्यो
यो भुङ्क्ते स्तेन एव सः.
यो
यो
भुङ्क्ते
भुक्तेन
तेन
स्तेन
एव
एव
सः
सः.
See on the left hand side, there are two pictures of all the devatas, and then also certain living entities who follow the rules of God and they live peacefully. And down picture, you see people are partying without keeping God in center. They want to eat anything and everything for their sense enjoyment. And that is what this verse is talking about. Can we read the translation, please?
I can read it.
Please.
The charge of the various necessities of life, the demigods being satisfied by the performance of yajna, sacrifice, will supply all necessities to you. But he who enjoys such gifts without offering them to the demigods in the return is certainly a thief.
Very beautiful. When we go, if any of you have gone to Haridwar or any of the holy place, when you take a bath in the river, what is the first thing you do? You take water and you offer the same water to the river. Very puzzled thing, right? The water, who gave that? The river is giving the water. So what am I offering to the river?
Just the same water.
The same water. And river is filled with unlimited amount of water, and I just offered a palmful water. What does it mean here? Or another example, how do you worship Surya Dev?
With water.
You offer the water, right? Surya Dev takes the water from the oceans, boils it, and then gives us form of the rain. He doesn't. Does he need the water? He doesn't need the water. That's a way of reciprocation. There is a very important concept in Western countries, at least in India, was not there. But one has to have a right principle on that of gifting. We just pass through that period. What is gifting mean? Gratitude. What is gratitude? Is a reciprocation that you did something. I want to share this from my heart. You don't give the gifts to someone whom you don't like or you don't have a relationship with, but you share that out of gratitude. So imagine the devatas are giving so much thing, but I don't repay back anything. Not that we don't have ability. Imagine if sun is not there, our electricity bill, we can't be able. We will become bankrupt to pay those bills for light and all that stuff if sun is not there. But sun never charges an electricity bill at the end of month. Oh, I use so many solar units. I'll call it that way. I'll charge you for that. No, we don't pay for it. But what do we pay back? Nothing. And I just learned a very important lesson in my life. I just want to share. Whenever we see certain things in material world, we should know how to offer them just the pranam. Doesn't take much effort. Like we gave an example.
Being cognizant of it.
Very nice. That's the perfect word I was looking for. That I understand that reciprocation. I may not be able to reciprocate in the same way, but I say thank you. Being cognizant of what is happening in my life, whether it is Surya or whether it is moon. Yesterday it was a very beautiful full moon. I was hoping in the morning when I come for Mangala Aarti program, I'll see the moon, but then it was covered with the cloud. If the moon is not there, the juice in the fruit will not be there. That creates the juice in the fruit and vegetables. So there is so much dependency on this material world, especially devatas. One should know at least how to offer pranam, and we will read further ahead, which is talking about what has to be done. So in this, what we see are starts from here. This is 11, 12. I forgot to put the numbers. So demigod are pleased by sacrifice. Prosperities follow by cooperation. So Lord Vishnu is the supreme personality of Godhead. He creates the demigod, and demigods are in charge of various. In this case, it just mentioned light, air, and water. We just talked about it, and they are providing the necessities of life. When you perform the yajna, then there is no scarcity of supply. We were speaking about that, right? And one who enjoys gifts without offering back to demigod is a thief, right? That is unfortunate situation. So based on three modes of yajna, so performance of yajna has many benefits. One is eatables become sanctified. Now this is very important part, and I'll come to that. Especially these two part, eating sanctified food, existence become purified. By purification of existence, finer tissues of memory become sanctified, and memory is sanctified. One can think of the path of liberation leads to Krishna. This is These are the 2 points which I want to cover in detail. We haven't spoken about this, and this is very important. What is the difference between food and prasad? Anyone? You come and get the prasad. What's the difference between a food and prasad?
Prasad is
The prasad is blessed.
Is offered to the
offered
god.
to the god.
Very good.
That is being written.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Beautiful answer. Thank you for adding that, Dimple Mataji. Thank you, Prabhu and Mataji. So, what's the difference between food and prasad? We understood that's a prasad. Now, this is talking about why we should eat prasad. Now, anything which we do as a job, what is that? What is the why do we work? To be honest, there are four principles: roti, kapda, and makan. Three things. Roti. It's a Hindi word. Let me pronounce. Eat. Roti means we need food to eat. Kapda means we need clothes and we need the shelter. Right.
The
These
fourth
are
one also iPhone.
so many etc. There. So there are so many.
Basic necessities.
Yes. So good one. So roti, kapda, and makan. So that's what we do. So that's the fruit of our activity. You say I do perform my work, which is action, and that's a result of the action. You have with me so far?
Yes.
If I eat the fruits of my action myself, thinking that I am the doer, who am I now? Okay, let me put it that way. I did my work. Why am I able to do the work? Because I'm able to breathe properly. I have a good health. I have a nice weather outside or whatever. I've been given air, water, air, whatever is there, because of which I'm able to do work. And if I do work, I get the results of that work. And when I get the result of work, what do I do? Oh, I work. This is my salary. This is my job. So what is this mentality?
Selfish.
Selfish mentality, and this is a thief mentality.
If yeah.
I am able to do anything in my life. Or I can be carried away if I were to talk about that. But just to give an example, even from my eyebrows to move, there is a devta who sanctions it. Wow. So subtle for everything we are dependent on devatas. So if I'm saying this is this thing and I eat the food without offering to devatas, what happens? Thief here. I did not do the work. For an example, you're a CEO of the company. You have 1,000 employees working under the company. And when they produce the software, this guy says, oh, I did everything. No, sir, you didn't do anything. There are employees under you who are cooperating with you to make that revenue which you are generating. If the people don't produce, you can't get the revenue from that perspective. Similarly, when I work in conjunction with everything around me, which is material nature and the in charge of material nature. And because of them, I'm able to perform certain activity. And when I drive some food out of it or results out of it, they have to be certain percentage has to be offered to the yutas. That is what the purpose of yajna is all. Right? Sorry, I'm just going to yeah, that's okay.
I'm
So
just
that's
attending the Gita class.
yeah. So we perform yajna, which means what? I offer the results of my activity to God. And that's an important activity when we talk from this perspective. When we cook food, which is the result of my work and result of I'm able to do the work because of the material world and material in charge, I should offer that food to God. That's why making food to prasad, of course, we don't make it convert to prasad. Krishna, when he eats, God, when he eats, then become prasad. If I don't do that, then I am a thief. That is one principle. The second principle is that we talked about action. Every action has equivalent reaction, right? So if I perform a certain action, I either get punya or papa. So even I work based on whatever work I'm doing and however way it is being used, whatever I'm producing, that gives me karma, good or bad karma, it gives me that one. So if I eat that without offering to God, first and foremost thing I became a thief. The second part is I eat the result of activity, whether it is punya or papa, right? Whether it is punya or papa. However, When I offer that to God, there is an escape from here. Then it becomes prasad, which means you are not entitled for the karma. You're with me so far? You're with me, Mataji? Everyone is online with me?
Yes.
Very important principle. So, whatever we cook has to be offered to God first so that it becomes prasad. And both these criteria are fulfilled, which is first, I'm not a thief because I'm offering back from whom I received. And second part is, I don't get entitled with karma. If I'm not entitled with karma, I mean result, then I don't have to suffer or I don't have to reap the fruits of it. Very simple formula. I'll tell you a secret, which we don't know, but that's hidden in our culture. It was there earlier, they would offer, but it is lost over time. When someone leaves the body at our home, that period of time, whatever you cook, you don't taste, you don't eat first, you offer to Lord Vishnu. You have noticed that one? Yes? You have seen it? We offer it to Lord Vishnu there. What is that? What is that ritual called, Shrikant Prabhu? You remember? Shraddha, right?
Shraddha, yeah,
Ah,
13 days or
Yes.
12 days, depending upon various places.
those days you cannot cook onion and garlic. Meat is definitely out. Onion, garlic, you because Lord Vishnu doesn't take onion and garlic. So you can't offer the food which is in mode of passion and ignorance. The food has to be in mode of goodness. So you offer to Lord Vishnu first, only then only. So actually they bring brahmanas, they offer to Lord Vishnu, and then first share is given to brahmana, and then the whole family eat. Nobody knows behind it what is the reason behind it. Because when you offer that to Lord Vishnu, that Pitra who is actually going from this planet to some other planet based on whatever is the karma, the soul is very hungry and thirsty because it has to cross many, many, many millions of miles. So when you offer to Lord Vishnu and when you offer to Brahmana, that is also yajna and it is fed to that soul who is transmigrating from one body to another body. Similar way, when we perform every activity, there is an action and there is a reaction. One has to know how to offer the results back to God. If we don't do it, then we incur karma. So question may arise. So far, if I'm not offering to God, which means I have so many sins accrued, unfortunately, yes. I remember it now. When I talked about Vidura, that Rishi who was actually like that, and they asked, why did I have to suffer that? He actually, while walking, put his feet on an ant, and then the ant died, because of which he had to go through suffering. So I have a question for you. Earlier times, people would not have cars. Right now, we have cars driving. How many ants or how many insects we would be killing? Can you count?
Yeah, I have a story to tell. My mom would always say, watch the road and walk carefully so that you don't kill even ant.
Yeah.
So I even now I do the same thing. My neck is all bent now because of that.
Hmm.
It's just in my DNA to actually walk and watch.
Beautiful culture. So imagine what is the repercussion we had. What is the possibility of us going back to our like in India? There is a tradition when someone dies, swarg ko pa liye, like in Hindi they say, oh they went to swarg. Really, sir and ma'am, you killed so many ants, you so many this, and you still expect that you would go to heavens? Hare Krishna, possible. And this is a very important principle which we have to imbibe. How can I do that? Very simple, my Lord. Very grateful for your contribution in our life. Because of you, I'm able to breathe. Because of you, I'm able to eat this food today. There are so many people who are starving out of food. I want to offer this as a result of my work. Because of your mercy only. Please accept it with love. Offer it just with the simple statement. We should bring this in our life, this practice.
My father actually, every time he gets he actually prays
Hmm.
and then takes a little bit of food and gives it to the dog
Hmm.
before he eats.
Correct.
That's his, like he's been doing from childhood.
Correct.
Now I understand why it looks like this is a
Yes, this is
Puja.
very important point, that one has to have that attitude to do that. And spiritualized way of doing that thing is you offer to God first. Rather than DOG, you use GOD.
Yeah. It does both.
So when you do that, because there is another principle which we didn't talk about, based on ancient principle, when you cook a food, you are supposed to go 100 houses nearby to see if anyone is hungry.
Oh, that
If
was
yes, you are supposed to feed them first, and then you are supposed to honor your food.
yeah, those
You
principles
can't
are all
even
gone.
imagine that
Yeah,
principle now, right?
No,
Because
but one principle I remember is back home, my parents and relatives would say, if you come and I have only one meal which I'm eating, if you come to my house, I've been taught to give that food to you and be hungry and tell you that I'm fine, I'm fine. You know, that's how we were trained.
exactly.
But now nobody,
It's
you know, they
lost.
take their food and eat away.
That's how, because there is, Mother used the word selflessness is missing. Both parties have to understand each other, but that's not there today. But anyway, that's a separate topic altogether. But hope this is clear, and we will read on 11 and 12. I just want to summarize this one and we will end. So who are devatas or demigods? These are empowered administrators of material affairs. We spoke about that. Assistant in different parts and parts of the body of supreme personality of Godhead. Authorized supplying agents on behalf of supreme personality of Godhead. This is, and then 3.11, what are the functions of demigods? Supply all benedictions necessary to keep our body and soul together. Their pleasure and displeasure depend on the performance of yajna. We covered that. And chief purpose of all yajna is ultimate satisfaction of yajnapati, which is Lord Vishnu, because devatas are in charge. They will not take salary. They will offer to Lord Vishnu, and whatever is their salary, they will get out of that one. So this is what we talked about. The prasadam, everything has to be offered. So that's how it becomes sanctified. One eatables become sanctified, and by eating sanctified food, one's very existence become purified. And by the purification of existence, finer tissue in the memory becomes sanctified, and the memory is sanctified. One of the path of liberation. And we cover that. This is all eatables, either vegetarian or non-vegetarian. All animals subsist on vegetarian. Heat, light, water, this is what I provided. And all manufacturing enterprises, whether they are generating magnesium sulfate, they cannot say that we are the producer, because ultimately it's come from Mother Earth. They can refine it further, like similar way as gold. So this is what we just wanted to cover. Next week we will start with I think this is, yeah, this is different verse altogether. So we will start with 13 verse. Any comments or reflection? I went 1 minute over time. Please forgive me about
That's
that.
okay.
Any comments, reflections before we end?
I think it's as human being, we take everything for granted.
Hmm.
We, as I was saying, anything comes in free,
Hmm.
we don't value, and
Yeah.
those are the most important. Like if we don't have sunlight, air, or water to breathe, which are available abundantly, but we
Hmm.
don't realize the value of it, and we are not thankful of it. We are always trying to run after things where we pay to get it and attach value, but what is available, what is the core source of our
We don't realize
living
it.
existence, we disregard it, and we are not thankful and grateful.
Very beautiful. And what should we do to make that cycle complete, saying that we offer gratitude? What are the ways to offer gratitude?
And one of, as it's mentioned, yagna,
Hmm. And what kind of yajna is applicable for the yoga we live in?
sankirtana yagna,
Yes. And what is Sankirtan Yajna means? Who brought that up?
chaitanya.
Mahaprabhu. Very nice. Very nice. And who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Sorry, I'm just trying to draw the line to run there, and I'm just trying to see if anything is.
Is the reincarnation of Lord Krishna and
Yes.
Radharani.
Beautiful, beautiful. So they brought in the Sankirtan Yajna. And what happens when we, so based on the Yajna which we discussed, which is, of course, we did not discuss Sankirtan Yajna yet, but the Yajna which we discussed, what did we cover in that one?
It's the yagna
Offering.
is the Hare Krishna, Hare Rama mantra.
Yeah, that is Sankirtan Yajna. Very beautiful. So that is defined for Kali Yuga. But what we also discussed is about that devatas are the in charge, or in charge of material necessities of life, They give that as part of the yajna, which we offer the yajna, and then that's the result of that yajna. If we do not do that, then we break the cycle and we becomes the thieves. So what should we do? We should offer. We gave an example which you mentioned about when we talk about Surya Dev, we offer pranam, saying that thank you. Same way when we get the food, which is the result of our work, we actually offer it to God first, saying that please accept it. This is actually because of you I'm able to do that, and that's how it becomes sanctified, which is also called as sanctified food is nothing but prasad. And when we eat that prasad, our finer memory tissues, of course we don't know how the memory is, you can't say the dimension, we cannot see the memory either, even science cannot give you a picture, oh this is how memory looks like. No, they cannot actually talk about how the mind is, how the intelligence. So there are subtle things which are there in our body, they becomes fine grained, and that's how things manifest. And then that's how our finer tissues, when they are refined, then actually we can remember God and practice God, and we get out of the cycle of birth and death. Thank you. Any other comments anyone online wants to add?
This was very good. This thing about sanctifying the food, offering the food God. This was really good. And that's at least it's the minimum we can do in our daily life.
Very nice. Yes, thank you so much, Ashok Prabhu. Very simple, nothing much has to be done. Whatever we cook, we offer to Krishna. Now,
Yes.
like when I came to Krishna consciousness, honestly, I am a Sindhi, so I come from the background, and when I started learning little bit cooking, for me onion was the key thing, because we use onion and garlic on that one. It took some time, but slowly. So initially, when I came to Krishna, this was too tough for me, thinking that, "Arey, how can I leave onion and garlic?" So what I did is, okay, at home I will cook anything without onion and garlic. It took some time for me to take that. um and then outside I cannot control salad, because I was living in Sydney at that time. There were not restaurants where you can get Jain food and all that stuff. um then slowly I realized internally nothing was coming like this thing automatically by chanting the name of Krishna. Then I stopped eating outside also. I'm like, I don't want to have. And then tea coffee came later, saying that, I don't want to have. So then I found the decaffeinated version of so many options are there which are even more healthier, and that way that's how I started. But again, this is the change in lifestyle. But at the end of the day, ultimately, when we know what is the result, we gave two example about Dhritarashtra, we gave an example about this. We are performing so many sinful activities for which we may have to suffer, and we realize that. Similarly, like for an example, when a person is sick, or when a person is having any disease in relation to a particular type of food, even if that person likes, he avoids that, because he knows, if I'm going to eat that, it's going to create a problem for me, right? For an example, a person whose stomach is upset, even if whatever however way they like milk product, they are not suggested to eat milk product, and they want to avoid, otherwise it will disturb them more, it will create more problem for them, and then you stop eating that one, right? Yogurt is okay, which is again a milk preparation, but that actually is a medicine herb at that time. Similar way, when we know that certain type of things are going to be problematic for me, then I work on that, how to actually get away with that one. And that's the whole idea. Maybe that's an exercise for me. When I cook something, next time I should bring it for you to just taste it, saying that how it tastes without onion and garlic, so that that's also understand, saying that how it works. Because I have certain friends who actually when they're not following the, especially the Ann Arbor program, and when we take temple prasad, they're like, how can you make like that? Pizza, lasagna, pasta, anything you can think about can be made without, even Chinese, they say without, you can put it, just it's so nice. It's just all mental. So takeaway for today's classes: see in every way how you can actually make this food prasad. That's how the output, or that's how the takeaway for today's program is. So with that, thank you so much. La Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Purana ki jai. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we chant one round together? Do we have time for
We
that?
have to leave
Ha,
actually.
okay.
We
So
have a meeting.
okay, so can I request you to chant at home? Ashok Prabhu, we will do that next week. What we do is every week after the class, we chant one Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, which takes around 7 minutes, 7 to 10 minutes. So we haven't been following for last 2 weeks, but we will start continuing from next week for sure.
Okay, that's good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really,
Thanks,
really
Hare Krishna.
grateful for your audience. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm ending now.